So, the worst kept secret in football, Danny Roehl has left Sheffield Wednesday. I've sort of not took it in though. I think because I've known he were going for so long, now it's actually happened. I've not really processed it. I mean, it was obviously January time, Christmas time, we knew it was going. Obviously, the poor transfer window that we had when we signed a random left-back who essentially just came to Sheffield for a 5-week holiday. And a left winger who barely played or kicked a ball in anger. Although when he did play, he still barely kicked a ball in anger because he kept missing the ball. But a really poor transfer window. Obviously, promises had been made and not followed through in terms of just strengthening the squad enough to try and get us over the line into that top 6 and a push for the playoffs. So an already faltering relationship. Then Southampton come calling. Later, apparently Leicester and 1 or 2 other clubs. But this compensation deal was a stumbling block. Now, we were told at the time it was somewhere near £5 million. I've seen a reporter today say that he'd heard on the inside it would near to £8 million at the top end if it was a Premier League club. So that was never going to be matched. Danny Roehl, as good as he was, a young rookie manager in his first job. And he did a magnificent job for Wednesday. I'll never ever take that away from him. I don't think he will become an excellent manager, a manager in top flight, which I've said all along, but sort of on a decent wicket because he came in, followed Cisco in, who had been an absolute horror show, and of course he performed the miracle and kept us up. But still a rookie. And so a team is not going to spend £8 million on a rookie manager. Some of them won't spend that much on a centre forward. So that was always a stumbling block, and it's rumbled on and on from Christmas all the way till now. But he's now left by mutual consent. So we've got bugger all. Now, when it became obvious that teams weren't going to pay £5 to £8 million for Danny Roehl, but it also became clear that he didn't want to be here, and that when the summer came, he weren't going to be coming back. That's when you would think, wouldn't you? As someone who keeps telling me that, a top businessman, right, we'll negotiate here, or going to end up getting fucking nothing. So you want £5 million, you're not going to get £5 million. So why don't you start negotiating and say, well, I'll tell you what, you can have him for 2. Or you could have him for 1. Especially when you're running a business, which you're telling people left, right and centre is losing money hand over fist. Why would you not take £1 million for someone who don't want to be there, for someone who's not going to be there? Okay, we got 750 grand for him. It's better than a kick in the bollocks. But no, we let it drag on and drag on and drag on. And the reason for it is, our owner's completely stubborn. He wanted £5 million and he thought, I'll wait and I'll get it. The problem was, he's met a young, ambitious manager who's played him in his own game. He's gone, do you know what? I can be stubborn too. And now and again that happens. A lot of people have kowtowed. And if that's what you want. But he's not. He's gone, if you're going to be a stubborn bastard, well, guess what? I can be a stubborn bastard as well, just as much as you can. And I think that's what we've seen play out. Has Danny covered him in glory? No, I don't think he particularly has. But look who he's dealing with. Sometimes when you're dealing with someone who's unhinged, you've got to fight fire with fire. And that's what he's done. And I've got to be honest with you, I don't particularly blame him. But again, it's the club that loses out. So now we've not got any money for him and we've lost a great manager. But it's also affected our preparations going into this new season, because if this had been sorted out months ago and Henrik had come in as the manager in waiting, which everybody knew is what was going to happen, Henrik could have been preparing the place for next season with his own coaching staff, because that's the other thing that's happened. Chris Powell's gone, Sasha Lenz has gone. Well, the staff's gone with Danny. They've left with Danny. But they're leaving a week before the season started. This should have been sorted. So now we've got Henrik, Giles Coke, the lad Oldsworth, they're taking training. I won't be surprised if 1 or 2 first team players helping out. Then the big kick-off's next Sunday. This is all avoidable. And, just 1 or 2 people have been a bit fruity about Danny and traitor and snake and dishonour. I don't blame him slightest. The blame here is squarely with one man. One stubborn man. Anyway, Danny's put out quite an emotional statement, I think. Danny said, "A very special time is coming to an end, and I'm incredibly grateful for the experience we have shared over 21 unforgettable months together. I thank our chairman for his faith in giving me the opportunity to take my first steps as manager, and I thank my players for such a successful collaboration. Your tireless commitment and for being a great... I thank my players for such a successful collaboration, your tireless commitment and for being great humans. I'm proud of all your personal resilience and efforts, and thanks to my staff, I'm finding it difficult to find the right words today. You were always there for me and the players too. You work with so much passion, day after day, week after week, and I'm very proud to have had each of you with me over the last 21 months. From the first team evening to the last day, I could not have asked for better people to be alongside. I also want to highlight my gratitude specifically to my coaches Sasha Lenz, Sal Bibbo, Chris Powell, Neil Thompson and Henrik Pedersen for the fantastic bond we created. It was a pleasure to experience all of this with you. Two images will always remain in my mind: the atmosphere in the Sunderland dressing room and the picture after the Watford game. We were a unit. I wish each of you only the best and good health and bright future, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. And finally, I want to say to the passionate supporters of this great football club, I will never forget all the amazing memories that we've enjoyed together. You make this club such a special place to be part of with the passion that you showed throughout, and I will miss you all so much. This summer has been difficult, and in the end the club and I came to a mutual decision to part ways. I understand the different thoughts and reactions to everything that's been going on during the past few months, and I'm extremely grateful to have had this opportunity. Even during the difficult moments and setbacks, I've always continued to feel the support from everyone. I take so many special moments away with me that will remain in my heart. We achieved a miracle together, and that will always be something truly exceptional. I wish everyone associated with Wednesday the very best. I will never forget you, the Gaffer." Good statement, accompanied by a little video in there. One of the first people to respond to that, Deshaun Bernard. "From the first day you believed in me and my abilities. You gave me the opportunity week in and week out to showcase them. You took us from rock bottom and we were able to achieve the impossible. You made the club believe again, and for that I thank you. I wish you all the best in the future. You deserve better." And he did deserve better. Came in, achieved an absolute miracle in keeping us up, and had us punching the air after. We were up and around the playoffs, nudging that. And he signed that extension, and again I've heard people say, don't sign an extension if you don't like it. The extension was signed because promises were made. Make no bones about it. So anyway, Danny's left. And it's funny that I've been knowing he's going for 4 or 5 months, and yet somehow I'm trying to process it now. What I would say is I think he will get to the top of the game. I'll keep a very interested eye on his career. And just as I've said with a lot of players who've departed the club, I would say through no fault of their own. Again, I wish Danny all the best and thank him for his service to Sheffield Wednesday.